all of us know that we are working from home from different locations, and there might be some network issue. Today morning I was facing some network issue on my side. So if you face anything like that, feel free to ping and let Paras know, and he can call me and let me know. I can switch the network, right, if required. Okay, so with that, let's start with this session. Thanks for joining this session, and good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone, depending on which.
It's breaking, Devendra.
I'm breaking. Let me change my. One second. Yeah, I'm back. Paras, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, I guess. This one is better.
Yep, hope it goes fine. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I was at the title. Okay, so this session is about TypeScript fundamentals. We'll scratch the surface of TypeScript. We'll understand what is this about. I have designed the session considering in mind that if someone doesn't know about TypeScript, that person will be able to explore TypeScript further after this session and will be able to work with TypeScript on their development machine independently, right? So I'll be touching all those aspects so that you can develop and debug on your machine. So moving ahead, about me, I am, as Paras mentioned, I'm Devendra Singh Rawat, and I have more than 17 years of experience in IT now, and I have primarily worked with Microsoft technologies. Apart from that, I have worked with AWS and other open source technologies in different domains, which includes manufacturing, banking, finance domains, where I have worked, and I love sharing and getting more knowledge through these kind of sessions, where sometimes I become an attendee and sometimes I share my knowledge with others, right? And it helps a lot. So with this session, we are going to cover what is our JavaScript. So who are very new to TypeScript, they will understand why I'm talking about JavaScript. In the beginning, we'll cover why JavaScript and why TypeScript, what's the difference between these two and why do we need TypeScript. Then we'll move ahead, we'll see those concepts, core concepts of TypeScript, why TypeScript is introduced and why people are adopting TypeScript. And after that, we'll move ahead and we'll play with TypeScript. I'll do some hands-on session. I'll show you what are the benefits of TypeScript, how there are a few things which we should be doing when we are working with on a project which includes TypeScript. And then a few next steps where I'll share some links regarding how you can proceed and do the web development if you're very new to web development. What other things you can do, what are the other useful links which you can use. And definitely Q&A will be there at the end, as well as in between. Also, I will try to take small pauses. I will ask you guys if there is any query. All right. And otherwise, if you feel that I am not stopping in between, not taking a pause, feel free to ask a question in between also. And that will be really helpful. Okay. So moving ahead, first, what is TypeScript? Okay, so as soon as we start with TypeScript, everyone has got this question, right? Why TypeScript? There are many languages: CoffeeScript, TypeScript, JavaScript, right? PureScript. So you might have heard about all those things. TypeScript is something which most of the people have heard, right? So first thing is, why do we need to understand about TypeScript and where it helps? So in terms of a single line definition, it's an open source programming language, not exactly a definition. It's about TypeScript. So it's a open source programming language started at Microsoft, right? But it's open source now, and it provides static strong typing, right? Static typing or strong typing and object-oriented JavaScript programming, right? That's where it helps. So JavaScript initially, when it was started, it was started to make your page little dynamic, right? Your HTML pages where you were using HTML and CSS. So JavaScript was there to make those pages dynamic with by adding little functions and all those stuff. And I hope that you all have worked with JavaScript, right? So once we saw that when we noticed that everyone is adopting JavaScript very well, and right, and then they felt that there is a need to overcome the shortcomings of JavaScript. Wherever we face those challenges, those needs to be resolved, right? And with that, there were many other scripting languages which came into picture, like CoffeeScript, POScript, TypeScript, and all, right? And they all tried to solve all those shortcomings of JavaScript, right? So to start with, Java, we call, most of the time you might hear this term that TypeScript is superset of JavaScript, or generally I call it JavaScript plus plus. And again, a disclaimer, JavaScript plus plus is not a standard term, which at least I have not heard about it. It's just the way I call these languages, like JavaScript plus plus, which means that TypeScript has got additional stuff apart from JavaScript. So everything which you can do in JavaScript can also be done in TypeScript. And there are few additional things which you can do over and above JavaScript. So on the right side, you can see a small picture which denotes that in terms of sets, you can say, right? So JavaScript, which is a subset of TypeScript, or you can say TypeScript is superset of JavaScript, right? Because it came later. So we'll keep on seeing this thing when I do a hands-on, that how it's a superset. Provides type safety and verification. So as I mentioned, that there are few shortcomings in JavaScript when you write JavaScript, right? Good thing is that JavaScript you can write, you don't need specific IDE and all for JavaScript. You can work on normal Notepad and all. But when people started using JavaScript a lot, they started writing a lot of libraries, a lot of big functions and all those stuff, right? With that, they started facing issue of basic verifications, very basic type safety, right? And they started feeling that, okay, if we get these things in JavaScript, that will be helpful. That's where TypeScript comes into picture, and that's where it helps. So we'll see it in a demo, how it provides a type safety and verification during development time. Enables use of current or future features in these JavaScript engines. So if you're working on JavaScript is generally following ECMAScript standards, right? So JavaScript engines in every browser. Right now, it's all about web development, so I'm talking about web development, and I will refer browsers. But these days, you will see that JavaScript is getting used for other applications also, right? Like mobile applications and other desktop applications. So, but every web browser has got JavaScript engine within it, right? Which helps running those JavaScript on the browser. So, and all these JavaScripts are following some ECMAScript standard. So ECMAScript is a standard which is getting followed in JavaScript, and these ECMAScript standards have got names like ES3, ES5, and so on. And 2015 onwards, they started naming it ES2, 2015, 2016, and so on for every year, right? So that way, when you're writing some library, library in JavaScript for your project, right? And you know that language or that standard is very dynamic, which is evolving every year. So sometimes it becomes difficult to catch up with it, right? Or sometimes if you are working on some project where you want to write some JavaScript which is supported on an older version of ECMAScript, not the latest one, right? So that time it becomes difficult for you to understand and find out, right, what all is supported, what all is not, right? So there also TypeScript helps us. It gives us some easy way of generating a TypeScript by a small configuration change. We'll see it how it happens, right? So overall, if you're writing a code or library in TypeScript and you are saying that, okay, my target ECMAScript version should be ES2015. So whatever JavaScript will get generated with the TypeScript, that will be in compliance with ES2015. So that's how it will be done. We'll see it. Okay, use the development time to produce JavaScript. So as I mentioned, TypeScript is a language which doesn't run on your development machine. Oh, sorry, I mean the production machine. Sorry for that. So it is a language which helps with the development, right? It's for developers. So it's more to make their life easy, right? So once they are done with TypeScript code, they have developed something in TypeScript, they can easily generate JavaScript, which will run on any browser or any other machine. right? So JavaScript will run in production, not TypeScript. So overall, if you see the primary benefit of TypeScript is that it provides strong typing, okay, which is not there in JavaScript. In JavaScript, you define variables like var, some variable name, and that variable can contain string or integer, and anytime it can change those on your type, right? So in TypeScript allow you doing that, but it supports other data types with which developers' life become easy. We'll see that. Second benefit, as I mentioned, it supports for future JavaScript features, right? So if you are writing something in TypeScript and you say that, okay, generate it for ECMAScript 2020, which is not adopted in most of the browsers and all, right? You can do that without making much change in the code. So that's the beauty of it. And then there is this link which I'm sharing, typescriptlang.org. This is the most important link if you are new to TypeScript. You should bookmark this link. You will get all the documentation, small samples, what new is there, and apart from that, there is a playground where you can explore how, if you write something in TypeScript, how it will be converted or transpiled into JavaScript. I'll quickly show you this site, and then probably at the end we'll come back to it. So I've opened it directly here. So this is a site where you will get all the documentation and details and all, typescriptlang.org, and this is a playground where, if you have seen codepen.io, it's that kind of site where you can play around with TypeScript on the left, and you will see how corresponding JavaScript will look like, right? So those kind of things you can do here. We'll come back to it when we start doing hands-on. So moving ahead. So when you start working with TypeScript, you will have to install something, right? Just like any other language, any other SDK and all those stuff, right? So it is primarily distributed with NPM. NPM is nothing but a Node package manager. If you are not aware of Node or Node package manager, it's just a manager, just like if you worked on NuGet, right, or Pip for Python. So it's a package manager which comes with Node, right? So you will need Node to install TypeScript, and with npm command you will install TypeScript on your machine, right? But otherwise you don't need Node or npm. It's just for installation, right? So not limited to Node.js application, as I mentioned. It's although you pull that TypeScript binaries with the npm, but it's not limited to Node.js applications. You can write Node.js application because, again, those are JavaScript based applications. So wherever you want to generate JavaScript, you can use TypeScript, right? It's just about generating JavaScript through TypeScript language. Can be used for any JavaScript application regardless where it executes, as I mentioned, apart from browsers. If you have got some other application where you can run JavaScript, as I mentioned, in Windows machines or on mobiles also nowadays you can run JavaScript applications, right? So you can use TypeScript to generate those JavaScript. TypeScript is not executed at runtime, as I mentioned initially. Also, it's just to help the developers, right? It will never run during runtime, right? But that's where you will face some issue when you do a development with TypeScript and you have to do some debugging and all. So that's what I will cover at the end, because that makes it important. If you are running some application on your machine, then your JavaScript will be executed, right? And that's where you need some tooling to make your debugging easy with TypeScript. We will cover that. Okay. So why TypeScript? Again, I've covered most of these. So quickly to summarize. So strong type support, as I mentioned, that instead of var, you can use types, proper types like string, number, bool, and you can create your own types also, which is supported in TypeScript. Detects common mistake, checks for error at compile time. we'll see how it checks, right? So for example, the example which I gave, if you define a variable in JavaScript and assign an integer, and in very next line, if you assign string to it, JavaScript will not complain, right? And if you have a big JavaScript file like that, and you have made some mistake like that, where you was using string in a variable, and later on, due to some mistake, you assign an integer, during the development, you will not get to know about it, right? You will get to know about it when it is running on your production machine probably, or on QA environment anyway, but not on the development machines. So it will help there. TypeScript will help there. We'll see when we do hands-on. Helps overcome some of JavaScript's inconsistencies. Again, it's about covering up all those inconsistencies in JavaScript. Bridges gap between front end and back end development. So this is where I felt when I started TypeScript that this is the beauty of it. So most of the time I was working on, as a back end developer, right? I used to do server-side coding and all those stuff. So when I started looking at the web development part, right, which is front end, I realized that there is some learning curve when we start working with JavaScript, right? So there it makes it a little easy when you start generating a JavaScript with the TypeScript. So you will be writing all the code with TypeScript. If you are aware with third generation languages like C# or Java, right? It becomes easy for you to generate JavaScript because you will be writing a code in TypeScript and it will automatically generate JavaScript, right? And TypeScript in that way looks very close to these object-oriented languages, right? And that's where benefit of TypeScript comes in, right? Otherwise, in market there are many other scripting languages. As I mentioned, CoffeeScript and other, right? But it caught up because it made those things easy for developers to work, right? Today, large number of mobile desktop apps are JavaScript under the hood. So as I mentioned, JavaScript is getting adopted a lot in mobile and desktop everywhere, right? So that's where TypeScript becomes important because it will help you to generate or write such kind of application easily, right? Consistently. You will not have to think a lot of web or other part. You will just be focusing on TypeScript, and then you can get your JavaScript with it. Left shift quality. So this is one term in industry which you might have heard, right? People who are not aware of left shift quality. So it's more like it's an industry known thing that if you find a bug in production system, it's very costly, right? To fix that bug and resolve that issue. If you find same issue early in the cycle in your QA environment, Q8 environment, or in development environment, then the cost involved will be very less, right? And as per some analysis, it is found that it's around, if you find some issue on dev machine instead of on production machine, you will save at least 50%, 15% cost, right? So that's why we call it left shift quality. So TypeScript will help to identify such kind of issues early in the cycle on dev machine itself, right? And that's what we are going to see, how it will find out those issues and how JavaScript doesn't find that issue and how we can miss it and run it on production directly. Support for ECMAScript 6. Again, it supports multiple versions of ECMAScript. We'll see how we can change a target ECMAScript version and generate corresponding JavaScript and how JavaScript will vary. So in this hands-on, I will be using Visual Studio Code. This is one free tool by Microsoft. It's open source, free. Right, you can install it on any OS. Any OS means at least on Mac, Linux, and Windows. If there is some other OS if you are using, I'm not aware of. I'm not sure, but at least on these three famous OS, you can use Visual Studio Code. You just have to add few extensions which you will require for web development and all. You can find all those details in the site. I'm not going to show how to install it, but I'm going to use it and show that how it helps, right? And TypeScriptlang.org, if you just want to do some POC, see how you will write some TypeScript statements and how it will get converted into JavaScript, then again, as I showed you, you can go to a playground of TypeScriptlang.org. Okay. So by the way, you will find these Visual Studio Code benefits of it and how to install and all those things in our YouTube channel of Microsoft Reactor. Those are some very good tools. very good sessions where you will find that Visual Studio Code can be used for any kind of development, at least which I have seen, right? So I've done Python development, I've done coding for AWS, Azure, right? So all these things are supported. So if you are new to it, you should definitely look into it. It's beautiful. Okay, so as I mentioned, let's play with TypeScript. I'll start doing some exercises to show the benefit of TypeScript, and these are a few points which I'll be covering. Okay, so we'll cover core types which are supported in TypeScript, how to configure an environment or project on your dev machine so that you can start with TypeScript and work with TypeScript-based project easily. Strong typing we'll be covering and how it helps. User type declaration files. So if you are aware of JavaScript, if you have worked on JavaScript, for at least TypeScript, I feel that you should be aware of JavaScript, at least at the basic level. So there are many JavaScript libraries which you can use in TypeScript, right? But those annotations and IntelliSense and all those things, for all those things you need some type declaration files, right? Based on which TypeScript will help you when you compile your code, right? And tells you that what is the issue with certain statement. So I'll show you how to include such kind of type declaration files. So this is very important. If you are a hardcore developer working on JavaScript, you might have used jQuery libraries or Lodash libraries, and there are many others, right? So for different purposes. So this will help you to work with TypeScript with those libraries. And at the end, as I mentioned, that debugging is another important part. If you're developing, you cannot avoid bugs, right? And uh, most of the time you will have to debug, understand, at least if you are starting with TypeScript, you will have to debug at some point of time and see and watch the variables and understand how that variable structure is structured, or what is the value assigned in that particular variable and all those stuff, right? So for that, debugging is important. That's what I'm going to cover at then, how to do debugging. This will be very specific with Visual Studio Code. And if time permits, we will see how to use Playground. But otherwise, if we don't get into this, then also you can go to typescriptlang.org site and play around with it. Okay, so with that, and this will be probably my last slide here, and then we'll move to Visual Studio Code. So I'll be covering few code types in TypeScript, right? Not everything. There are many other types also, but few code types which will be good, which are good to understand, right? Which basically I feel that at least if you are starting with TypeScript, you should understand, right? Most of these, like string, number, boolean, I will briefly go through it, right? And we'll briefly see that how these types will help and why absence of these types in JavaScript are giving us issues. Okay, from that perspective, we'll cover that. There is one any type which, if you have worked with C#, I'm not sure in Java if there is any support for that, but in C#, if you see, there is a object, right, where if your variable is of object type, you can assign any object to it, right, something like that. So it's like that. We will see how it will be useful and where all it will be useful. Similarly, array probably I'll not cover much, but if we get some scenario, I'll show you, right? But it's again same kind of thing, and probably in line with string, number, boolean, we'll see that how presence of these types will help in TypeScript. And same is with enum. Union type is again something which is unique, which I have seen in TypeScript. No, I'll not say exactly unique. A few other languages might support this, but this is the one useful type in TypeScript, and this also we'll see how it helps. Okay, so before I proceed, I will open my Visual Studio Code and I'll wait for any queries if there are any so far. So any query regarding TypeScript, if you are new. Okay, pretty fine. No queries, that's fine. But feel free to ask any question, right? Okay, so let me open up my notes so that I can follow through them. I will make sure that I am covering each and everything, right? Okay, so this is one blank folder. If you are new to Visual Studio Code, here I will be adding my files, right? Just like many other IDs, all it's File Explorer kind of place, right? It name is Explorer, right? Here you will see all the code which I will be writing in TypeScript and JavaScript, and here you will be seeing all the commands which I'll be running to compile my TypeScript file and transpile and generate JavaScript. Okay, so keep an eye on it, and if you feel that somewhere you're missing whatever I'm saying or typing, feel free to stop me and ask me. So I'm adding a sample file here. Sample, probably I'll be adding more. So I'm writing a sample1.js, not a good name, but it's not an intention to show the files, right? So TS is an extension of a file of my TypeScript. This is the first file which I generated, right? First thing, let's say I'm writing a JavaScript code, right? So I'm saying where my first name equal to, I'm assigning some name, Devendra. Okay, I say console.log. Okay, so here this is a variable, right, which is defined in a TypeScript. Now what I'm going to do is, let me define it like this. See the difference, right? So there are a few things which are mixing up in IDE, and I'll show why I moved it to the next line, right? But for now, so in JavaScript, what you'll do, some variable name, and then you will assign some value to it, right? And then let's say you want to do some manipulation with this string, right? So when you type dot, JavaScript doesn't know what is there in it, right? Because as I mentioned, where can very well have an integer also, right? And this will work fine. If I run this, to run it with Node, I'm running it here, not in browser. So you can, if you are new to Node, just see that Node is a tool which is going to help me to run this JavaScript file. Okay, sorry, this is TS, not JavaScript. Let me create a simple JavaScript now. I'll say sample. Name it to something else. I call it temp. Okay, let me move this code to this temp. I save it. Node, I'm saying temp.js. Okay, so I'm saying run this JavaScript in my command terminal, right? I'm saying enter, right? So see, I assigned I created some variable, assigned something to it. Then I made a change. I assigned 13 to it, console.log, and now it is showing 13, right? So that's fine. It will run fine. But if you see, if it's a big file of hundreds line, right, and you have created some variable, and after that, due to some mistake, or you are doing some debugging or something, you change the variable type and things will change, right? And you will not get to know unless until you execute it on your environment, right? So you will get to know about this issue probably in your production server or U8 or integration, but it might skip your development server, right? Or your build server. So build server will not know these issues. Now, coming back to TypeScript, right? So here, same is the issue. As I mentioned, TypeScript is superset of JavaScript, right? So I can very well write same code here in TypeScript, right? And it will run fine. I'll show you how to run it, but for now, just understand that it will run fine. Now in TypeScript, if I have to do the same thing, how will I do that, right? So I say let this variable name. This is how I'm defining my variable, and I say that this is of type string. Okay. See, as soon as I said that this is of type string, as soon as I said that this is of type string, here I am seeing underline here, right? So if you are using if you are using Visual Studio Code, you will see it. If not, then during compilation you'll get to know. We'll see how. Okay. So in Visual Studio Code, see this underline came in, and I'm saying that type 13 is not assignable to type string, right? So it got it here, and as a developer, I will notice it. I will see what kind of information is there and accordingly fix it. Let's say you are working on Notepad, you didn't notice this thing and you have written this code, how you'll run. So TSC is a command. You'll come back to it, how to install it with respect to your project. But for now, understand that I have installed TypeScript on my machine and I'm using TypeScript to compile this code. Okay, so I set sample1.ts. So I'm compiling this file, which is sample1.ts, a TypeScript file, and I'm generating a JS, corresponding JS. So here you will see that there is no JS file with the name sample1.js, and that will get generated once I compile it. So I did it, executed. Now see, when I'm compiling this sample1.ts and trying to generate a JavaScript, I'm getting error which is telling me same issue which I can see here in Visual Studio Code, right? So let's say you're using Notepad, you will compile, you will run this command from your command prompt and you will get this error, which means you are going to catch this error when you are compiling this TypeScript file on your dev machine or at least on your build server, right? So that's where it helps us. That's the beauty of it. Okay, so now let's see, although it will compile, so it's our responsibility to see these errors and fix those errors, but it is going to generate a JS file, corresponding JS file, right? So see, this file is generated, sample1.js here. If I go here, this is how it will look like. If I run this file, which command for that is again node and that file name sample1.js, it's not TS. Now I am running JS file with node. It will run fine. Okay, so ultimately what I'm trying to show here is that if you compile, if you are writing a code, I have not written code in JS file, right? I've written code in TS file as a developer. I compile it, at the same time I'll note down that this issue and accordingly I'll fix it. Okay, if I do it directly in JS file, probably I'll not catch this issue, and in production my JavaScript code might work as intended, might not work as intended, as not intended, right? So that's one thing where TypeScript helps us, right? So let me quickly clear it. Let me move ahead. So now, as I showed you this command tsc TypeScript compiler is, and I'm compiling this, generating this file. Now I'll open up this file. Oh, sorry, this is the error. Let me remove this. Okay, so I'm again running tsc sample1.ts. I'm generating corresponding JS file. Came here. This is generated, right? Now see the type var which is generated here, right? So when I'm saying that this variable is of type string, it is creating a variable of type var, because in Java this is what is supported, and it is assigning this value to this variable. It is not talking about what type first name will be of. Okay, so that way, if you have an existing project with JavaScript, you can copy paste this into your TypeScript, and then gradually you can refactor your code to put these conditions and check those out. Okay, ignore this underline if you are using Visual Studio Code. It is coming because it is Visual Studio Code is looking at both these files from project perspective and saying that this name is already defined. See, this is the error. So if I close it, this error will go away, but you can ignore it safely. Okay, so this is how my JavaScript is generated, and I saw that JavaScript has got var. Now, latest version of JavaScript has different way of, it supports defining a variable with let in JavaScript also. Okay, but all of our browsers, like they are mostly, I think most of current browsers are supporting ES6 or ES5. You can check it out, but yeah. So there, if I use let, probably it will not work. I'm not sure, but it might work, it might not work, right? So from that perspective, let's say I'm doing a development, a targeted development, right? And I want to generate a JavaScript file corresponding to certain target ECMAScript. So what I will do, I'll provide an option to my compiler. I will say hyphen target ES. Let's say I want to target ES215, right? So this is one way of doing it. There are other ways, I'll show it later. But right now, just understand that when I'm compiling, I'm saying that compile this code, TS will generate a JavaScript file which is targeting ECMAScript 2015. Okay, I'll enter it and we'll see the change here. See the change. Okay, now because in ECMAScript 2015 let is supported, it generated code. It's a very small example, but there are many other things which are coming up in different versions of ECMAScript. So that way you just have to change the target ECMAScript which you have to generate. So as a developer, if you are writing a code in TS, you are not worried about JavaScript. You will just change the target version and accordingly your JavaScript will be generated. Right? There are many other things, different structures of JavaScript based on ECMAScript, but just to show you an example, I'm showing it with this variable type. Okay, and this will work fine on the, depending on that JavaScript engine. Okay, so that's about it. And then let me. So these are one way kind of variables and integer is fine. Come on, 1 second, my this is stuck. Yeah. So this same with string, number, boolean, same kind of things which you will notice. All right. So if in your TypeScript, yeah, you can define your data type like this, that let this variable be of type string. Similarly, let a variable of type int and boolean, so on. Right, no difference. On Visual Studio Code, I am any flag. I'm just pressing Control space. It will show me what all could be there. I'm writing boolean, right, and so on. And similarly for, let's say, age, I say this is of type num. Okay, this same. I'll not go much into detail here. You can explore those things. I just want to show what are good point with TypeScript, right, which will help you. So going back to my code, now let me show you another which you can create, right? So this file is not required, or let it be. Okay, I'm just copying some code. Let's say I created this variable. I created one constant with this structure in Java. Okay, and let me put it here. Okay, and then with this structure, I'm saying console.log user dot age, first name, and so on, right? Now by mistake, if I'm writing first name, okay, if I'm using a good editor like Visual Studio Code, where I have installed all those supported extensions, I can easily write user dot first name, right? It is showing me those options and all. If you are using some editor where it is not supported, there you might end up writing by mistake like something like this, right? And again, this JavaScript, as we all know, will not throw any error, right? So it's kind of issue again, I'll get to know not on dev machine, not on build server. This code will compile easily with my other files and all, and there won't be any error. But when I run it on UAT integration or production environment, there I'll get to know what is the issue. Right now, same thing if I try to do. So again, these are Visual Studio Code supported statements. So in Visual Studio Code, it is showing me that where it is supported, where it is not. But for now, forget about ECMAScript. That's what I wanted to cover with the ECMAScript, so you can ignore that. Now let's say I come here. Okay, as I mentioned, TypeScript is superset of JavaScript. Same code I can write here, right? But when I write the same code here, what is happening? Okay, I created a structure user which has got first name, last name, age, and I am putting user.first name. Okay, so now, okay, let me go back to here first, right? So here, just to show you that what will error, I'm running this node. I'm running the JavaScript file node temp.js. See, this is the value which I'll get because it is undefined. This variable is not there, right? But I can write in JavaScript. No one will stop me. Okay. Now, if I do the same thing in TypeScript, right? If my team is doing the same thing in TypeScript, here, as soon as that person will make a mistake, even if that person is not using Visual Studio Code and that person is not getting any support from the editor, when they compile it on their build server, right, and they write like sample1.ts, I'm compiling this TS file, tsc sample1.ts, that's it, and I will get the error immediately here, right? So that's where these structures, right, although we can define just like we can define JavaScript, but when you use it, that time we'll get the full support from TypeScript, right? So it will see that what type it is, right? What all values are supported, what all attributes are supported, and it will throw the error during compilation itself, right? So that's how we saved it. Now let's say one very important aspect of it, right? So okay, let me show you how it generates a JavaScript. Once we fix it, first name, I fixed it, and I recompiled this TS file. It will generate my JavaScript, and this is how it will generate, right? In JavaScript also, we can create this structure same way, only we will say var here, right? And this is how we'll run this. So this is fine. So if I run this node sample TS, okay, it will show me the event, which is the value assigned to my first name. Okay. Now, one important thing to note here, one ahead, is the type of first name is already shown as string, right here, and it is as number. Okay. So this comes in TypeScript with inference. We say that this type is assigned by inference, right? So it saw that okay, some value is assigned to first name. Okay, so it should be of type in string. So if I try to do something like first name equal to 13, let's say. Okay, so again, I'll get this error, right? So it is saying type 13 is not assignable to type string. Okay, so that's another beauty. So I have not defined whether it's of type string or integer or anything. But once I have defined this object, this structure, right, and then I can, if I try to assign some other number or some other type of data to certain attribute, it will stop me there. It will show the error, and I will correct that. Okay. Now another structure type. So here we saw that this structure helped us. So in TypeScript, there is one important thing which is called interface, right, which is supported. And if you have worked with any language, you will know what is interface, right? Interface is nothing but a contract, right? And this is a very important feature of TypeScript, right? So if you want to define API signature for your method, right? I'll not talk about API right now. If you're not aware of API, forget about it. Right? Let's say you have defined a method, or yeah, if you have defined a method, right? So let's say, let's call it, if you are defining a function, and this is update name, let's say. Okay, what this function do is it takes a new name of type string, right? So let me do this like this. It will take new name. It will take object and it will take any object which will be user, Okay, and we will say user dot, let's say, first name is equal to new name. So JavaScript will not bother about it. So again, runtime, it will show error, right? So what is the right way of doing it in TypeScript? So here, for every variable, you can define, so what is the type which you are expecting, right? So you will say, I expect a type of string for new name. Similarly, for user, you can define your own type, right? And that's where we are going to define this person, and we are saying that, okay, it will take object of this person. So this variable should follow a contract defined here. Okay, and now you see that it will start showing me this error that f name does not exist on type person. So it automatically checked that, okay, this is not following a contract which is defined here. This contract is empty. Basically, you will not get this kind of thing. So let's say you have a first name of type string. This is how you can define it. Okay, and last name, well, let me do a quick thing, age of type number. I'm just keeping it small. Okay, so now if you see here, I got error as soon as I tried to use first name without this thing. So TypeScript caught it and it said that, okay, your object is not following the contract. It should follow a contract as defined in person, right? It should follow this interface, or as we call in generally in contract, right? So it will throw that error. So it will not allow me to make that mistake, right? So far this is fine. We have seen this example, but the beauty of this is, right, during development, you will do this so that you can avoid mistakes. When you generate your JavaScript, right? Let's see how it generates. I generated JavaScript. Oh, so is JavaScript file? Oh, sorry, I tried to compile a JavaScript file itself, right? So this was the command. It should be tsc sample1.ts. I did that, and it generated JavaScript for me. Now see the JavaScript. So there is no interface at all in my JavaScript. There is no type defined at all for new name for user. Okay, so again, this is the function. If I directly write in JavaScript, that's fine, it will work fine, right? But if I make mistakes, as I showed you earlier, if I write it this will also work fine on dev machine, right? On when I try to run this JavaScript, it will throw error that during runtime. Okay, so here the beauty of this interface is that you will define interfaces everywhere, and then whoever is using this interface, right? So for example, let me close this JavaScript so that this error goes away. Right now, let's say there are a lot of functions defined in your file, and now you are doing a simple console.log. And you are saying update name. Okay, as soon as you did update name, see, it is telling me that first parameter expected is the new name, which is of type string, right? So I will pass new name. I will say Rahul, let's say. And second data type is of type person, right? So that's where it is helping me by saying that what structure is expected, right? So this structure is expected. So I should be creating this structure and passing it there. Let's say I created a structure of my own, something like we did earlier, const user, my user, let's say, okay, and I'm saying this my structure, and it has got first name. Okay, and so on. Okay. So I did that. I'm trying to pass this object to this. As soon as I did that, I might get this object, this is a normal JSON object, which I might get as a response from some API or from my server-side code anywhere, right? So let's say I got this object and then I am trying to do some manipulation here. So as soon as I try to pass it, it will throw an error. It will say argument of type first name colon string age number is not assignable to parameter of type person, because it is expecting object of person, right? So what I will be doing is probably is I'll say let my user is of type person and so on, right? So again, the way we showed, I showed you that strings and all needs to be defined same way, right? I'll not go much into it, but you can define your own structure, your own types, and then you can use in TypeScript, and this will help your team by avoiding any kind of mistake, right? So that's one beautiful feature in TypeScript. I'll move ahead to see what, okay, this thing we saw, any and union type. I'll quickly cover this and then we'll move ahead and see how to set up a project, right? So let's say now a very common function, add, okay, do a number one of type number, number two again of type number, right? It adds the number and returns it. That's it. Simple thing. Okay, num1 plus num2. Very simple function. I'm doing console.log, right? And I'm saying add 1, 2, which is fine. Okay, so far all good, all fine. Now, why I'm coming to it with respect to any, right? So just the way you define your variables in JavaScript, right? So you can say var number equal to 30, right? And then you can define, you can assign anything to num. You can say any string, right? So it is very similar in case of any. Okay, and that's where so far I was telling you that this is not a good way, right? Because we can change the data assigned to it and that might cause issue, right? So why any is required here? Okay, I can define any variable, sorry, not this way. So I can define any variable like result, which is of type any. Okay, and that will be equivalent to var in JavaScript, right? So now when we are saying that this is not a good practice or this is not helpful in JavaScript, how it is going to help us here, right? So now let's take an assumption of this, right? Now I want to create a method. It's just a random example, right? In your project, you might have some other requirements. So let's say there is a function which I say that if I pass number, then add it and return it. If I pass string, then concatenate it and return it. Okay, so output of this should be 3. And let's say if I call the same function with strings with let's say 1 and 2. Okay. Yep, it is giving that error. Ignore it for now. It is saying that this method cannot take input as integer, right? So that's where it is helping me. But let's assume I want a function like this, right? And that's where how any can help us. You might have to think of the scenarios in your case. And second thing which we are going to cover is union. Okay, so now I can say this number can take input number. So this number one can variable can take any input which is of type num, or this is or sign, right? Or it can take input as a string also. See, as soon as I type number or string, there was this error. I'll again remove it and show you. So my function was expecting to input 2 parameters, both of type number, but here it is telling me, it is giving me this error that this cannot be assigned to a number, right? because this is string, this is number. As soon as I said that this parameter can take number as well as string, that error is gone. It is saying, okay, that's valid parameter because my parameter for this function can take number or string. That's union type, right? And same way, if I say for number 2 also, I am saying that this can take this or string. So this error is also gone. Now here is error because here we are trying to do a plus operator, right? It might be supported, it might not be. That's what saying operator plus cannot be applied to types string or number, right? This type is string or number. Okay, so that cannot be applied. So here we have to make that change, right? And we'll see how the output will be updated, right? So let's say let result, or let me do this. I say if type of, which is again something in JavaScript also, I think, if type of num1 is equal to number, right, and type of num2. You guys, please feel free to stop and ask question if you are not getting anything right. I'm just moving ahead because there are a lot of things to cover. So I'm saying that if my type of my parameters is number, then add it and return it. So I will say return num1 plus num2. Okay, else I'm intentionally not following the structure which generally people follow in JavaScript, right? So that we can see some gap here. Okay, so I say return num1 dot, let's say to be on safer side, I make it to string num2 dot toString. Okay, so I'll remove this. So far so good. Okay, it will return this integer, and this, if we run it, we'll quickly compile tsc sample1.ts. It will get compiled. It will generate JS file like this, which is something similar. If I run it, node sample.js, it will show me the output as expected, which is fine, right? But one thing to note here is that the response which I'm getting, right, from this function. So see the any response type here, right? So add num1, num2, any. Okay, so now you'll see our functions. Generally, functions you have you specify in all the third generation languages, right, or advanced languages, that what is the return type. So here earlier when I wrote that function which was expecting two numbers as input and output was also number, so my return type was this number, right? Now if you see, it is giving me this error here because this is satisfying the signature, right? It is saying that okay, return type is number, which is fine here, but in this case I'm concatenating and going to return a string, right? So it will not work fine. So one way is that I say that a return type is number or string, okay, or probably I can say return type is any. Depending on your need, you can take any one of these. So that's where any will be useful in such kind of scenario where you know that your return type, or because of some reason certain variables can have, you know, any kind of object during runtime. So that's where you will be using it. Okay, so that's about any and union type. So these two things. So this is, you will find it getting used at many places, any and union type. There are many other stuff, intersection and all. So I'm not going to cover those things, but these are something which you'll find commonly getting used places. Okay, so that's why I want to cover. So that's about defining your types, defining your interfaces, and where interfaces you will get again see at many places because it gives a structure, and then that structure can be used anywhere within your code, right? So now let's quickly see how to set up a code and what all are necessary to understand when we set up a initial project with TypeScript, right? Or if you're working on certain project which is still using TypeScript, if you have to understand how it is working and all. So I'll close it. Okay, I'll just take a small pause for any query if there is any, because I'm moving towards another topic about setting up your project and how to execute this project. Any query, guys? Anything? Okay, I'll not take a big pause because we are short of time, I think, right? So feel free to stop me in between. Okay, so this is about the video of TypeScript. Now, how you are going to use these things in your project, right? And you will not be running your project with this statement node, or you will not be compiling all TypeScript files because TypeScript are generally one-to-one mapped, right? Generally, and depending on your project, it might have different kind of usage also. But when I say one-to-one map, every page will have one. And the way generally people develop is that every HTML page will have one corresponding JavaScript, which will have functions related to that page only. And that's why you will have a TypeScript corresponding to that page again, right? So you might end up writing 10 TypeScript files for your project, which is having 10 pages. So you will not compile them all with TSC, page name, and so on, right? So you have to make it efficient. So that's what we are going to see how to do it. I'll remove all this. Okay, and for this, let's say we have got index.html, which will remain same. No fancy stuff here. I'm just stopping it here, right? Then you will generate a TypeScript file. Let's say again index.ts. Again, this can go into different folder structure. We'll see how we can do it. But for now, this part I am keeping here. It's more about structuring your files in different folders. But right now I'm showing how to run those together, right, with minimal commands and all. Okay. So this is my TypeScript file. I am not generating any JavaScript because that will be generated, right? Now, let's say, let's say I have to set up a project, right? So first thing is that when you install TypeScript, right? So generally, as a developer, if you are working on multiple projects, some of your personal, some of your, if you're helping someone else or within your organization itself, you might have projects which are using different versions of TypeScript, right? So it is not recommended to install TypeScript as a global at global level, right? So you should be installing TypeScript for your project, specific project, because those two projects can be using different versions of TypeScript, right? So that is one part, right? And we'll see that. And now you have to manage your project also, right? So you will end up adding a lot of modules. So even if you see in normal web project where you have got HTML, JavaScript and all, you will end up adding a lot of node modules, right? A lot of libraries. So how to efficiently manage those libraries. So let's start from that part first. So let's say I am creating this package.json. So for that, I will write this npm init, and for now I'm putting -y. I'll tell you why. Right, so I'm just creating a package.json file. So it creates a package.json. Every project, a web project which is having TypeScript, you will see that you are having these files here, right, to manage your project efficiently. Okay, so I created this package.json. Now here I will have all that information of my project. So when I set npm init -y, if I don't do this thing, it will ask me what should be the name, what should be the value for name, what should be the value for version, description, and so on. Right. So instead of doing that, I told that, OK, go ahead and provide the default values. So it picked up my folder name, session 2, and so on. First version like 1.0.0 and further. Right, nothing in description. So index.js, again, in most of the web application, you might have seen that main application which runs is named with index, right? Be it index.html or index.js and all. So I'm using npm, so that's why I picked up index.js, right? And you can make those changes if you are not using those names here. So this is first thing which is required. Second thing, now you will have to install TypeScript, right? Now I'm installing TypeScript, very specific for my project. So I am saying -e -d. What does this mean? Type. Okay. So see, I'm saying install TypeScript in this project. Okay, I will again show up this project. It has installed it quickly, but I'll come back with this command. Okay, now see two things. When I created that package.json, this part was not there. Okay, second thing, this node modules folder was not there. So as soon as I installed TypeScript, node modules folder got created. It has got my TypeScript package. I'll quickly open and show, right? All those libraries which are required for this project, right? And it will have my TSC command line also. Okay, so this I have installed for my project. Now, second thing is in package.json, it installed the dev dependency is TypeScript. Okay, so here we are saying that when I said -d, that means that install TypeScript as a dev dependency. Right, we'll quickly see that there are other dependencies, other libraries which we'll use, which will run in production. Right, there we add those as dependencies. Here, TypeScript will not run in production, as I mentioned initially also, right? So that's where I want to add it as a dev dependency. Okay, and then we can exclude those files which are there not required and production and all those stuff. But for now, just understand that -d is for that purpose. If I don't do it, then it will be installed as a normal dependency. We'll see that dependency also. -e is more specific about that. Exactly use this version, exact version which I want to use in this project 4.0.2. There might be requirement where you want to use some specific version, and then there are, I think, TypeScript at the rate that version. Probably whatever is the version. I'll not run it, but just to show you, right? So these commands you will get on TypeScriptlang.org. But you can install a specific version. You can mention that I want to install TypeScript at the version number, right? So it will install that specific version. If you are adding it at dev dependency, it will update that version here. If you don't add -e, it will add something like correct sign. This sign, and it means that it will support up to this versions. Okay, but that's fine. So this is about your project. First, you need package.json so that you can manage the dependency. And if you've worked with Node projects, you will understand that those Node modules generally you don't check in your repository, right? Because you will end up adding a lot of Node modules in your project, right? And these are heavy stuff. So when you package it, that time you need it, or on dev machine, whenever you pull it, that time you can install it, run it, right? So if I delete it, right, if let's say it's not there on my repository, I'll pull my code, which is this lightweight couple of files, right? Package.json, which is most important, and I will say npm install. So whatever packages are mentioned in package.json, those will be installed as per the versions which I mentioned here. So npm install, I will do that. Again, it will create node modules folder and install each and everything here. Okay, this is the way you keep everything latest based on package.json, right? It's a good way of maintaining your code. Okay, so that's about installing TypeScript. Now you have installed it, and now you have to add TS file. You have added TS file. Let's say, let me see if I have kept some example here which is fine. Let's quickly add few things here in TS file, or just to do this thing. Let's say there is a input tag with ID equal to num1. Okay, and then there is another input, or rather, I think it will take a lot of time, so I don't want to show these things. I just noticed that we have got 50 minutes only. Okay, so what I'll do is that let's say this is just the HTML page, and here I know that my TypeScript is going to generate JavaScript, which is this, it's not source, it's script. I will include my source file and I will say that, okay, I need index.js depending on your path, right? It's not there, but it will be generated by my by this command, tsc command, or through my build server, right? So this is what I will do. Now, let's say this package.json I'll close for now. Now index.ts, whatever I'll write, let's say I am again creating some function and I'm creating some calculator kind of stuff. So calculator functions, whatever it is, and I will write function add num1 of type number and so on, num2 colon of type number. I just want to show a few other things instead of focusing on this function. I'm just putting it here, right? Now, one way is that I can compile this tsc file the way I was showing you, tsc index.ts, right? And for a project having 10 tsc file, that is not recommended, and this is not what you want, right? Or probably what you want to do is you want to use the project specific TypeScript, because tsc command will pick up the pick up a version which might be here, which might not be here, depending on how you have installed node modules. So it's recommended that you execute that command appropriately. Let's say you have got a low version of TypeScript. So what you will do is that you will write node modules slash your tsc file is here, and you will write index.js, index.ts, right? So this is one way you can do it. Another way is tsc, you can do it. You will see that JS file is generated, corresponding JS file, and so on, right? Now there are a lot of functions, right? So now you will see if you have generated a big TS file which has got a lot of comments and all those stuff, you want to remove it. How you'll do it? When you compile it, that time you can tell it that I don't want a comment which is there in my TS file, right? So probably these days it is recommended to keep your JS files as lightweight as possible, and every byte counts, right? So you will say remove comments and compile it like this, right? So you will do this thing. So again, it's a pain in a sense. When you compile, you provide those options, and there are multiple options for multiple things. This is one thing which I'm okay. Yeah. So I compiled this. There was some comment here. I compiled with the option remove comment. It removed the comment and kept my functions, necessary stuff here, right? There are many other stuff, so which you can pass on as a parameter to your command. But as a developer, you don't want to write this or remember this every time. At least I cannot remember all these options, right? So I've kept it as a note on my screen, right? So that's where another thing comes into picture. Okay, so before we move to that, let's see quickly one more thing. Let me, why it is showing this error? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So another thing is that when you're making this change, you are making changes in a lot of TS files in one go, right? There are 4 or 5 files which are interdependent, and you're making change and validating, right? So how to look into those files and those changes? Okay. For that, let me quickly add one div, give it an ID, placeholder, any holder. So I will say holder has got some value, holder, right? And index.js, what you are doing is, I will just jump the gun. It's nothing but JavaScript file which I'm writing. I'm saying that get this and inner HTML or inner text, inner HTML of it should be having reactor, this value, right? No big deal, right? So now if I run this, right, on my Visual Studio Code, I have live server installed, but you can run it with any server. I'm running it. So you will see on this page, holder is there, right? It's simple HTML page having holder value in it. Now, what I want to do is that I want to change that value. right? So if I need to change this value, this JS file is not having the change which is there in my TS file, right? So I will again have to compile it. Again, I have to refresh that page. So that's again a big pain, right? If I compile it, let's say I compile it, this change will go into this file, which means I'm making this change. And if I go back here, it's not working, right? So it's not working right now because let me put it down. Is this issue when I was working on the session, but I will not tell you why it is not working here. It's more about JavaScript, how to place your scripts and all, and how you can delay execution of JavaScript, right? So for example, if I do this thing, see reactor, okay? So what is happening is that whatever changes I'm making here, let's say I'm writing welcome to reactor, welcome reactor, okay? So again, without compiling my code to JavaScript, I cannot see how it is getting updated here. So what I will do is I will say compile it, and if I run TSC, it will compile all the TS files in this folder. Another thing I will say watch. Oh. TSC. Okay, I have not added conf file. Okay, hold on for that. Fine. So this is what you want, right? You want to make those changes and you want to see it immediately, right? So another important thing which comes into picture is I'll try to hurry up a little bit. So you will say TSC ---- init. Now what it is going to do? See here, there is no file tsconfig.json. Once you run this command, it will add ESC in it. It will add a file with the name, yeah, tsc config.json. So it will have all the parameters which are required during my compile time operation, right? So what I'm saying is, if you remember, I showed you initially that I can change the target version of my JavaScript, and accordingly my JavaScript will be generated. So here by default it is saying that whatever JavaScript I will generate, that will be targeted to JavaScript, which is in line with the standard of ECMAScript 5. Right, and I'll not talk about modules. There are many such options here. One quick thing which I might show is strict. I will skip for now. There is one no comments also, which or comments, sorry. Remove comments, right? So if I remove it, now I don't need to do anything. If I say TSC, it will take care of this, right? So there is some error which is there because welcome object is possibly null. Okay. So I will say, oops. So let my div is this, and this is a HTML element, right? And I'm saying my div dot this. And these are JavaScript related stuff. I'll not go much, but it is trying to see. It was my TypeScript was trying to see that what type of object it is and whether I can get inner HTML in it or not. So that's where it was throwing me error, and that's where I corrected it. I said that okay, I will read this element from my HTML, and this will be of type HTML. So consider it HTML, and then I can change this thing. Now there is no error. I got that JSON file and all good, right? So quickly coming to it. See, use strict. So this was not coming so far. Now here, if I go to configuration, these are all compiled configurations, right? So here, if I go to strict equal to true, right, and it provides you all details what it do. Enable all strict type checking options. So with use strict, if you are a JavaScript developer, you know that if you write this thing at the top, you cannot use any variable without defining it, right, without declaring it. Okay, so you have to declare it with var my div, and accordingly it will work fine. So that all you are controlling with your configuration next dot configuration, which is defined in tsconfig.json file, right? So there are many such configurations, and similarly you can define what will be your out directory, what is your in directory, for your TS files and all, from where to pick up TS files and all. So these information again you can get from this site. Here you will get all this information, what to do. You can play around, you can understand, right? So I'll jump to next part. So now I was talking about TSC watch, right? So what I will do is I'll run TSC watch once my config, everything is there, and I'm doing a development. Now I have to make changes in multiple places and see how it is getting reflected, right? So I'm running a watch, okay, and then I'm saying here it's welcome reactor. If there is some change here, let's say welcome TypeScript reactor, right? I made that change, saved it because my compiler is watching it. It recompiled it to just JavaScript, and this is here. And the server which I am using, live server, it refreshes my page immediately as soon as it sees the change in source files. It shows that change here, right? So that way you don't have to recompile every time before you run your project, right? You just have to make changes. You see that how it is reflecting back on your in your JS file or on your browser. So now that's about setting up your project. I think most of the things are covered. Small thing which I want to cover in package.json. Again, it's part of Node. You can understand it. This script thing is again very useful in your projects, right? It is saying that if you have to run anything, let me go to a command. So so if you have to run any command, you are just giving an alias to that command. Here in this case, to run this command, alias is test. This is by default. You can run your test scripts and you write it, right? So you will write npm run test. Okay, and it is throwing this error because this is what is getting done here. No test specified and so on, right? So same way you can add. Generally, you'll see in your projects you will add end up adding build or compile. Generally, you'll see that people use a build, right? And you can say that okay, when I run this, it should run TSC or with any specific parameter. If you want to run, you can specify those things, and that way when you run it, you can simply say npm run TSC. So it will, oh sorry, not TSC, it will be npm run build. Npm run build. Okay, so it will end up executing those commands which you are writing here, right? So this is very important. Again, it's not required from TypeScript perspective, but it will help you to structure your project properly and run your application efficiently. Okay. So this is about setting up your project. I will jump to two small things. I'll probably take 5 to 10 more minutes. And sorry for that. I understand it's already 8 p.m. But these are few important things which I want to show. Right. So let's say you have a project, right, where you are using some existing libraries. Okay, let me close this, please. If you're using some existing libraries in your JavaScript like jQuery and there's one famous Lodash, right, which has got all utility functions of JavaScript, right, if you have to play with arrays and all. So you are using those libraries. Now you want all those type which are defined within it so that you can work with TypeScript easily, right? So as TypeScript adoption has grown a lot, people have started writing those type declaration files. So there is one concept which we call it type declaration files. So those are created. So let's say you want to use that Lodash project. We'll quickly see how it will help. Right. So you will say import this as Lodash, right? From this is one external library. Okay. So you will import it. And now let's say you want to use this library. Okay, and purpose of using this library is that you have certain arrays. This is one array, this is another array. Due to some reason, you're writing some project and you want to get intersection. Now see, for this intersection, this is a utility function which is defined in Lodash, right? So you will write Lodash ld dot control space, right? So you will okay, now see intersection I'm trying to write, right? So you will not get all that types which are declared within or functions which are declared within those libraries, right? Which are used there with all your JavaScript code. Now how to work with that? So when you define Lodash, right? So most of these important libraries will have your type declaration files ready, right? So first thing it is saying that, okay, you don't have Lodash installed. So if you notice there is no Lodash installed, so you should be installing Lodash. For that, you will be writing a simple command npm install. Again, I am saying that I want a specific version of Lodash, which is the latest one. I'm saying install Lodash. And it will fetch that library. That library will come here. Oh, there's some error, is it? What is this? No repository, one package. Okay, let me see. It is here. Okay, yeah, refresh issue. So see, when I was telling you about this thing, TypeScript was added as dev dependency because I don't want TypeScript when I run my JavaScript. But it is added as a dev dependent. Lodash is dependent as dependency because these libraries will be required when I run. When I run my JavaScript, that time your Lodash library will be required, right? So that's where I didn't use -d, right? When I install it, I said npm install -e, which is a specific version of Lodash, which is the latest one. Install it. I install it. That package is pulled. It is there. Okay. Now that's one part. Okay. Now coming back to it. So first thing, when you try to import that library, it showed you that Lodash is not there. We executed npm install -Lodash. Now, second thing, even if I have imported that library, still, if I'm doing ld dot, I'm not getting any options, any way of I'm not getting an IntelliSense to understand what types are there, what functions are there, right? So that I can use it, right? If I know that intersection is there, I can probably type it. It will work fine, right? Because again, runtime, JavaScript will import it. JavaScript knows that this is there, but during development time, it will not bother in JavaScript, right? But in TypeScript, what will happen that if I'm writing this, I should be aware of this method, then only I can type it, right? And that's not intended. In TypeScript is just to help developers, right? So how to get it? So now second thing, notice that once I import Lodash, second error which I'm getting here is, it is saying that could not find a declaration file for module Lodash, which means it will not be able to load any IntelliSense for TypeScript, right? So if I'm developing, I will not be able to confirm whether that function, intersection function, or exist in that library or not, right? So it is giving me suggestions. If you see, try npm install @types Lodash, right? So all these libraries, existing libraries of JavaScript, which exist before TypeScript came into existence and people started adopting TypeScript, they will have their type declaration files here, right? So this is what you will do for installing that, right? So you will say and then install as mentioned Lodash. No. It is pulling all. Okay, there are some errors. Have I made some mistake? Npm install @type. Oh, this is right. Okay, I missed S. Okay, so as soon as I did this, right? So again, from development perspective, from execution perspective, there was no issue, but it's very difficult to understand what all libraries, what all function, what all is available within this library, right? Which I can use in my TypeScript. So now see that error is gone. And now if I do ld dot, see, I will get all the options which are available in this library, right? And one of them which we are using is intersection. So you do an intersection and it will run and log it, right? I will not run it and show it because it's simple. Again, tsc commands to run it and say it. But this is what is type declaration. And now I'll quickly jump to the how to debug this issue, right? Let's say you have defined something which is not available, or some array. You want to put a debug, right? That is one important thing when you start with any new language, how to debug it, how to understand it better, right? And debugging is the most suitable option to understand language in a better way, how it is getting executed. Now with the same project, I want to debug it, right? So there are a few important things to understand. Again, I'm repeating, JavaScript gets executed on your production environment, not TypeScript, right? So when you're running something on your local machine also, it's JavaScript which is running, not TypeScript, right? And now because of some issue, you want to debug your TypeScript. See, all this thing is getting generated because I think watch is running. Whatever changes I was making in TypeScript. Yeah, there is a watch going on, right? So whatever changes I'm making in TypeScript, that is getting reflected in my JavaScript. So see the complex JavaScript which got generated. It got this complex JavaScript is coming from Lodash and in combination with TypeScript, right? So whatever libraries or intersection I'm using, those are getting rendered here. So, but we don't need to bother about it. Okay. So what happens? You have to debug your TypeScript, not JavaScript, right? Because you are writing everything in TypeScript, relying on TypeScript. So if you have to debug, and if you do a debug with this, let's say you go to JavaScript, and just for the sake of it, I'm putting it here. In Visual Studio Code, you will get this icon here which says run and debug, right? You will click on it, right? It shows run and debug here, right? You do a run and debug. We are running everything with Node.js. I'm running it with this. See, my breakpoint came here in JS, not in my TS file where I was putting that breakpoint. It will not be helpful because my JavaScript, generated JavaScript is very complex. This is not what I am writing. This is getting generated, right? It's more like if you are working on a language like C# and Java, you have to work on something in machine. You have to debug something in machine code or binaries which you are deploying, which is not intended. You cannot debug it. It's not easy, right? That's where we are using TypeScript. So how to do it, right? So I'll stop it. So to do that, what you have to do is in ts.config, again, you have to generate a source map, right? And we call it, let's say, yeah, that doesn't look like that. 1 second, source map, yeah. See the definition, generates corresponding map, right? So it is going to create a mapping between your TypeScript and your JavaScript, right? So as soon as I did that, see, because my watch is running, right? Again, now this is the beauty of that tsc-watch. After I generate ts.config, I kept it running, and now whatever changes I am making, it is getting reflected everywhere, and I don't have to run my ts compile again and again. So I made this change. I said that, okay, my source map should be generated when I compile it. So my watch observed that change and it generated a source map file here. Yeah. So extension of it .map, right? And which is mentioned here. It will generate a file like this. So within this, you don't need to understand what is there within this file. You just need to understand that this mapping is required for debugging. Okay. So this file is generated, which is fine. Now what I'm going to do is, let me stop it in case it disturbs me. I'll just, okay, yeah. So there is no watch running, nothing. I set source map true and TSC watch was running, so that it generated that map file. Now to debug, I will say here, start debugging. Here, this option is not enabled. It will say the create a launch.json file, right? So this is a file which is going to help us in debug every time, right? So first time we'll generate this launch.json file. As we are running everything with Node, I will select this option, node.js. It will have some default options. One important thing to notice, index.js, which is there within it, right? That will be starting point to it, right? But it will have name, launch, and name of this configuration. Right now, once this file is generated, you can save it and you can see this file in .vs Code. This folder got generated because of that file, and this is very specific to VS Code, right? And this has got this has created up some structure. You will understand what these attributes mean. You can ignore for now, but once you generate it for Node.js and you come back here, you will see this launch program option here. at the top, right? When you want to debug, you will click on, let me delete this. Okay, so the first time I'm debugging, I will go here, I will click on debug. Now, oops, again, it has not come here. 1 second, .json. I'll just remove. Okay, first it went to JavaScript. Okay, and I removed that breakpoint, and see now my debug point has arrived here in TS file. Now I can watch my variables. I can look at my call stack, breakpoints, and all that information. Right. So here, if I want to add variable, let's say array2, right? I'll say it's undefined because so far this line is not executed. Once I executed, I'll step through it, then this variable will get assigned. So all the debug things which you want to do to understand your code better, right? So most important thing is, I'll stop this debugger. tsconfig source map should be generated. Without a source map, this debugging will not work. Once you do generate a source map, your .map files will be generated, and these files you will know again see in source map how to exclude these files when you do build for your production server, right? Those all options are here in tsconfig, right? So that's second thing, you can explore it further, but this is what is required in debugging. So with that, I think I'll take a pause, stop it now, and apologies, I went beyond 8. So let me quickly see if there is anything pending remaining which I want to cover in my PowerPoint there. And meanwhile, if there is any question, feel free to ask that question. So yep, there is nothing much from my side now. That this is more about what all links you should be visiting if you are interested in web development and Azure and all. So this is all about it. You can always see many more sessions. This session in YouTube React channel. So that's it from my side. And please do provide survey feedback at this link. And I'll take a pause and wait for a question if there is any question from anyone. You might be on mute if you are trying to ask anything. Okay, if there is nothing else, then probably I'll hand it over to Paras. This is all from my side.
In messages, Vijay has asked.
Oh, sorry, I'm not able to see any message. So sorry for that. So can you please
let me know what is package log.json file?
Sorry, come again. What is package?
Package log.json file.
Okay, let me come back here. So this is a file we are talking about, right? So as I mentioned, right here, whatever you are adding, right? So see, now we have got Lodash also. So it's more about how you're managing your packages, right? Different packages which you are going to use. So here you tell that these are the packages which are required to run my application, right? Without Lodash types, right? So this one I installed by mistake as a dependency. This is not required for my running of my application. These types are required only for my development, right? So that's where I should be using -d option, as I mentioned. And similarly for TypeScript, it is not required when I run my application. It is required only during my development, right? So that's where I added it as dev dependencies. If you remember, I wrote npm install -d, stating that it is a dev dependency and then TypeScript, right? This is what I wrote to install it. Now, once this file is created, this file is keeping track of all the packages which are required for my application to run. Apart from these things, another important thing which I covered is what all commands, generic command you want to create, right? So that you don't have, you ensure that everyone is running your commands consistently. So few people might be using TSC, few people might want to use command something like node modules, which I showed you, right? Node modules / bin / tsc, right? So with this, what happens that if developers are using different kind of commands to compile, right, they might make some mistake on their local machine. They might end up generating some JavaScript which is aligned to some certain standard of ECMAScript, but on their machine or on production server it is something else, right? So there will be inconsistency. So you define those commands here so that everyone can follow those commands consistently, right? After that, what will happen? Developer will not have to run tsc command to compile the code. They will run simple build, right? Similarly for watch, if you want to add, right, I showed you tsc watch. If you want to write general standard, which I've seen in most of the project, it's build-w, right? You can name anything. It's not necessary that it should be build-w. You can give any name and you will see, you will say that, okay, when someone runs this thing, it should be this, right? When I do this, right, so what I will do is this npm and run build. So all developers in my team will be using this command to run tsc in watch mode. So see, without writing tsc-watch, it will do this thing. I might want to pass on some other parameters, which I will include here, right? But my developers don't need to bother about those things. They will just bother about the name given to this set of statements, set of commands, and they will run it from this. So these two things are important. And as I've showed, node modules, if I delete it, this package.json file will help me to install, to set up my project with all those dependencies as per my need. When I delete it and I executed npm install, it read all the package name in my package.json and pulled all those modules here. So that's the benefit of package.json. Any other question? Sorry, I am not able to see that message. If there is anything else.
No, Devendra, I guess that's about it. People have said it's a really good session. So, like always, you have been doing a great job.
Thanks a lot for that. And thanks for asking these questions. Any feedback, please feel free to share those feedback on the survey link.
Surely. Yeah, Vijay had said thanks. Thank you, Vijay. Thanks for being there all the time. And then I guess if that's about it, we can. If it's done, Devin, then we can just close.
Okay.
Is it?
Sounds good. So yeah, I'm done from my side. Thanks a lot.
There is a question from Shirish now. What all extensions VS Code we need to install for TypeScript? Should I say again?
Yeah, Paras, I think, yeah.
Should I say it again? So it's like what all extensions VS Code we need to install for TypeScript.
Okay, so I don't remember exactly all the names, and I will quickly try to see if. Let me go here, right? So Visual Studio Code, if I go to, let me see, because I am working with a lot of different things. So here I see that what all extensions are installed on my machine. This is definitely not required. Let me see, async, switch, auto import. If you go to Visual Studio Code site, you will definitely get all those details, what all are required. I'm sorry for that. I don't remember those extension names. There are a lot of, but CSS format, it's more from the perspective of sorry, I don't remember those names. But so when you start working with Visual Studio Code, right? That's one beautiful thing with Visual Studio Code. Let's say you don't have specific extensions installed, right? And you simply go ahead, you open a folder and write your first file with the name index.ts. As soon as you do that, it will give you a suggestion. Here you will get a pop-up here at the bottom right corner. It will give you a suggestion that this file looks like a TypeScript file, looking at the extension and all other stuff. And do you want to install this extension for it? And you can install that extension from here. Otherwise, you can go ahead and you can go to type TypeScriptLang.org. There also you'll get all those required things, and most important, Visual Studio Code site from where you will download this. You'll get all the extension detail. Sorry for that, I don't remember exactly which all extensions are mandatory for this, but because there are many here, and I don't want to confuse you with all these names.
Sure, then people have asked where the recording will be. I have already answered. So recordings will be there on the same meetup page where you have RSVP'd, and you can check the comment section. In a couple of days I'll be uploading and I'll be commenting this there, so you can find it from there. You can keep, plus if you want to find it, you can find it on, go to Microsoft Reactor YouTube page and you can find it there as well. So yep, that's about it. Thank you everyone. Thanks for joining. Thank you Shraddha. Thank you Abhishek. Thank you Rajat. And thank you all. Hope to see you this coming Friday. We have a session on security. So hope to see you.
I have one question.
Oh, okay, Shraddha, tell me. Please go ahead.
Just I want to know, can you suggest any good book or course to learn TypeScript, because I'm totally novice to this.
Okay, I don't remember anything of my head, but as I mentioned, TypeScriptLang.org, that should be the starting point. It's a beautiful site with all the documentation. I'll quickly show what all is available there. All right, if you go here.
Oh, okay. So can you repeat the TypeScript dot?
Lang.org, L-A-N-G.
Okay, lang.org. Okay, thank you, sir.
To the site, right? I'm sharing it.
Okay.
So it has got all the details, whatever I mentioned, you will definitely find it here, right? It has got Playground, as I mentioned, where you can do some experiment. It's very good site. I don't think you need a specific book software, but yeah.
And Hirok has already shared it in the comment section, so you guys can access it from there. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Hirok.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, I have one question. Hello.
Yep. Is there someone who's talking?
Yes, Hirok here, Paras.
Your voice is not audible. Hirok, your voice is not audible, I guess.
Yeah, is it better now? Is it better?
No, you have to little bit louder.
Little difficult, but yeah, if you can go ahead.
Is it better now?
Not better, but I'll try to hear it out.
Okay, I will just keep it short. Sorry for that. I am very new in JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. I'm very new, so I'm trying to learn on my own. But can you suggest any easy way to start? Because TypeScript will be, I think, for me an advanced level of JavaScript. What I understood. So, any suggestion? Like I don't want to go into traditional chapter by chapter. Like that will take more time. I will do it, but in parallel, if I can do some hands-on, then it will be very interactive. So I can learn, and in parallel, I can also code something on the same Visual Studio.
Got your point. Yeah,
I may be wrong. I just share my perception. Yeah.
No, that's right. You got it right. So TypeScript is not going. It's not something which is going to replace JavaScript, right? It's necessary to understand JavaScript first. Then, if you use TypeScript, then it will be useful, right? That's one. Second thing, as Paras also mentioned, we have got sessions about JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and all on YouTube channel. There you can get started. But one beautiful site which I feel is very useful if someone want to start with web development is W3 Schools. It's W3 numeric and then schools.com, right? You will get HTML, CSS, JavaScript. At least these three are there. Right? There might be other stuff. But yeah, that is very good place to start. And CodePen.io, CodePen.io, yeah, that's one where you can play around with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So that is also very good site. It is shared in earlier sessions of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, right? So if you go to CodePen.io, there you will get a lot of motivating projects and other projects from where you can take hints how to work on your HTML, JavaScript, and CSS skills. Once you are done with that, and once you feel that you can work on web development or any web application, then you can start working on TypeScript. Then you will get more benefits. You will understand TypeScript better, right? Once you have that JavaScript base ready.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for the session, Devin.
Thank you, Paras.
Recording.
Thank you. It was a nice session, and thanks for asking good questions.